To the south.
Memoirs of the curse of the man. Put it to y'all like this. I'm just gonna tell y'all how it's written. I see the same niggas, they still.
Right now, we're closing out the last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And we just want to cover the actual laws pertaining to this feast and show how many of these laws can be kept right now in this day and age. And we should be doing this to so we can rehearse these things for the kingdom. We can get our spirits right, get our minds right, and be prepared to do these things for the kingdom. So and be teaching these things to our families. All right, so let's just run through the law of the Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread right quick. Okay, let's go to Exodus chapter 12.
Yes, sir.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 15. Somebody get that.
I got it. Exodus 12, what?
Verse 15.
Okay. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eat leavened bread from the first day unto the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
Okay, so even though we're in this captivity right now, or should I say diaspora, because right now we're not captive, we're free to go. We're exiled from the land of Israel, but you can even go into the land of Israel. You won't have any power or control, but that's another lesson. But even though we're in this diaspora, you can keep those laws, right? You can do that. And all of us can take the leavening out of our homes for 7 days, right? That's not hard to do. Okay, so we can fulfill that. We can show the Most High that we want to be in tune with Him and His Word and obey His commandments. And as we brought out the other night on the first day of Passover, we brought out what the removal of leavening stands for, what that means. So we can all do that. You know, we should be removing the leavening from our homes and the leavening from our lives. All right, get that out of our household. Okay, is that all of that?
That's correct.
Going over to 1 Corinthians chapter 5.
The so-called New Testament.
Yep, the so-called New Testament. The Messianic text. And we say,
what?
Chapter 5. We say so-called New Testament because there's no place in Scripture where that text is called the New Testament. Those are simply writings, historical writings, and letters written by righteous men. Okay, and it's known as the Messianic text because it gives the teachings and historical writings of the apostles and the Messiah. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 5, read verses 6 through 8.
Okay. Your glorying is not good. Know you not that a little leaven leavens the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, as you are unleavened. For even Hamashiach, or our Messiah, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
Okay, so you see how Shaul, whom the Christians call Paul, you see how he's teaching, he's expounding on the law that we just read. Okay, for us to remove the leaven. Shaul was a deep person when it came to the law. And Shaul was also a Pharisee. Okay? Shaul knew the law very well. And in his writings, which are found in the so-called New Testament, he expounded on the law, gave the spiritual understanding of it for us to remove the leavening from our houses, from our families, our households, from our bodies, and to become a new lump. You know, because a little leavening, it's gonna mess up the whole batch. All right, and the leavening represents sin. So he's telling us to remove that. That's what we're being taught by the law. That's why we keep that law, so we can rehearse these things and get these things in our mind. Okay? It's not about people being lazy, saying you don't have to do that anymore, because they don't want to think. People are mentally and spiritually lazy. But Shaul, the righteous Pharisee, told us to remove that leavening. He gave us a spiritual understanding of this. All right, let's remove the sin from our lives. Okay, let's move on. Back on the laws of the feast. Let's go on down to Exodus chapter 13, and verse 8.
Okay.
Go ahead and read that.
All right. We ready?
Shabar, if you want to expound on something, go ahead. Exodus 13 and verse 8.
And you should show your son in that day, saying, this is done because of that which Yahweh did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. And it should be for a sign unto you upon your hand, and for a memorial between your eyes, that Yahweh's law may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand had Yahweh brought you out of Egypt.
Read on.
You should therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year.
Okay. All right, so the Most High is telling us to, thou shalt show thy son in that day. The reason why he says show thy son, like why not thy daughter? No, we're supposed to show our daughters too. But the sons, the men are the ones, we raise up sons to carry on these teachings and to teach Israel, to teach the following generations. So just like the other scriptures in the law, it says to teach these laws to your children. Talk about them daily. So we're supposed to talk about the Exodus, talk about the Passover to our sons, and because they're going to be the future teachers of the nation. All right? So that's why he's telling us to do this. These are things that are not to be forgotten. The Messiah taught this. He didn't come and change any of this. So we're supposed to continue these things and talk about how he said this was done in verse 8 says, this is done because of that which Yahweh did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. Now we know that Egypt represents hardship and bondage. It also represents a life of sin. Okay? So the Most High delivered us from that. And that's what we're supposed to look forward to. But at the same time, deliver yourselves and your families from sin. You have the power right now to deliver yourself and your family, your whole household from bondage. Okay? It's just like in the scriptures in Revelation when it says, when it speaks of Babylon, come out of her so you don't partake of her plagues. It's not talking about getting up, leaving America, going back to Egypt. That's stupid. It's talking about coming out of that life of sin. That power, you don't have to wait on anyone to come down from the heavens to do that. The power has already been given to you. The word has been given to you. All you have to do is learn it and be obedient. Okay? So that's what this is all about. You know? Think spiritually. Don't think physically. Don't just dwell on the flesh. All right? Let's move on. I noticed this. Let's look at verse 9. Where it
13
says,
and 9, right?
yeah, read that again.
Okay. But the Egyptians...
No, chapter 13, verse 9.
Okay, here we go. Chapter 13, verse 9. And it should be for a sign unto you upon your hand, and for a memorial between your eyes, that Yahweh's law may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand hath Yahweh brought you out of Egypt.
Right. So this is a sign unto us upon our hands. Okay? This is equivalent to that word sign is equivalent to that word mark. Alright? It's a sign upon your hand. Now the hand is like the scripture says, a strong hand the Most High brought us out of Egypt. Mm-hmm. Your hand represents your strength. Mm-hmm. Alright? That's what you use to work with. All right, and and we'll bring more of that out on the Mark of the Beast lesson. All right, but this is dealing with that. This is a sign. It's not a mark. It's not a chip that will put it into us, but this is a sign. Keeping the Passover is a sign for us that we're being brought out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, out of sin. All right, into covenant with the Most High, and making an agreement with Him to do the things that He wants us to do, as opposed to things that Pharaoh wanted us to do. Okay? So we got to leave this society spiritually. All right? It starts there, because you can, no matter where you go on this planet, you know, you can leave America, but you're still living in a life of bondage and sin and turmoil. All right? So this is a sign for us that the Most High gave us, that we don't have to be up under that. We can be up under His government and righteous laws. Yes.
You know, just saying, most people are traditional, where they need some kind of ritual or tradition or so-called holidays and that type of thing.
Holidays.
These holy days or feast days are appointed, and all have a spiritual meaning behind them. Like what we talked about earlier, the leaven deals with sin. Yeah. Everything has a spiritual meaning. Those other ones don't have a spiritual meaning.
Yeah.
So we need to get in line with these, because these will help us to learn the spiritual meanings and reinforce the spiritual meaning behind them all.
Yeah, exactly.
These other ones don't, you know, do not. It's just garbage. You know, these pagan stuff.
Yeah. What did Yeremiah, he said in Jeremiah, in Yeremiah chapter 10 verse 3, he said, for the customs of the people are vain.
Right.
All right? They're nothing. They're worthless. That's what that word means. It's worthless. But the Most High's customs have spiritual meaning.
You know, and even this menorah here is 7. They're basically 3, you know, in the spring, they're basically 3 feast days. Then there's one like Pentecost, a little in the middle. Then there's like 3 in the fall.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, completion, perfection.
There are other ones that are later, but they're not in the same level where we, you know. But,
yeah. And we there's a whole lot of things taught on this menorah. I mean, we can go on and on the mysteries and spirituality of this menorah. There's a lot of teachings on this. All right, let's move on. Okay, get Exodus chapter 12, verse 18. Now, let's skip that. Skip that. Exodus chapter 12, verse 16.
Okay, you ready?
Go ahead.
And on the first day, there should be a holy convocation. And in the 7th day, there should be a holy convocation unto you. No manner of work shall be done in them, except that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you. And you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For in this selfsame day I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt, of Israel. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generation by ordinance forever.
That's right. It says forever. Go. what's important is the Most High said the first day and the seventh day are holy convocations. That's not hard to do in this diaspora, in our situation right here. We can all get together. When people don't want to obey the Most High's words and they make up excuses, they're just showing their wickedness. That's all they're doing. They're being lazy and just showing that they don't want to obey the words of the Most High. It's showing that they're not being a Jew inwardly. Actually, inwardly, they're being a heathen. Okay? But many people can boast about being, I'm an Israelite. You know, but when it comes down to doing what the Most High tells you to do, you know, then you come up short. But that's by choice, because that's not hard. The first day and the last day are holy convocations. We can do that in our current situation. There's nothing stopping us from that. Okay? So there's no excuse out of that. All right? These laws are not hard to keep. You know, the Most High knows what we can and cannot handle. And we can handle that. And what did Yeshua say? He said, my yoke is easy. You know, his burden is light. It's not too hard. His burden was was Torah. But his burden was not the traditions of the Pharisees. It was Torah. And that can be done. It's doable. Even in this situation. And then when we get in, if we were in the land and we had our government set up, then the other laws would apply. But right now, only certain laws apply to us. So that's doable. All right, let's go to. We're almost done with this.
Okay.
Oh, what did it say? It said the seventh day is a day of rest, right? We could do that too. All right. Sometimes it gets rough, you know, with the job situation and stuff like that. But the Most High understands that, and He's long suffering. But if we make an honest effort, we can do that. We can get those days off, or you can take those days off. Use it one of your vacation days, or call in sick. You know, some people get lazy. It won't even be Most High Sabbath. They'll call in sick just because they don't feel like going to work. You know, so hey, on one of those days on the Most High Sabbath, you call in sick. You can get that day off, or use a vacation day. All right, so it's not hard. That's easy.
What we got? Okay.
Leviticus 23, verses 15 and 16.
Leviticus 23 verses what?
15 and 16.
Okay. And she come unto you from the morrow after the Shabbat, from the day that you bought the sheaf for the wave offering. 7 Shabbats shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Shabbat shall you number 50 days, and you shall offer a new meal offering unto Yahweh.
Okay, so after we left out of Egypt, when we're on our way out, 50 days after that, we met with the Most High at the bottom of Mount Sinai and entered into covenant with Him. That's what's significant about Pentecost, which means 50. All right.
You know, most church people who call themselves quote Pentecostals don't even understand that was a feast day.
Yeah.
There was an appointed feast day. They were there, and when the men spoke other languages, that, you know, I mean, it wasn't what, you know, these guys are talking about. You know,
the scriptures say Jews kept that feast.
Right. You know,
it was Jews keeping that feast. You know, but now for your average Pentecostal, they use that as an excuse to get in church
and justify
acting. Yeah. Acting like a fool.
Let's go.
So it was 50 days. That's the significance of it. 50 days after the Exodus, when the Exodus started, 50 days later, we entered into covenant on Mount Sinai with the Most High. Let's go to Exodus 19. I just want to cover that real quick because that's the feast that we're heading into. I still want to bring out some more teachings on that because there's a controversy amongst Israel regarding how that's to be kept. But I mean, just the logic behind it is 50 days after when the Exodus started, we entered into covenant. And so, you know, it says it all right there. Exodus 19. Oh, read verse 4.
You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and I bred you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself.
Was that a 747? You know, some people, they'll read other scriptures and say, on the wings of an eagle, we're going to go out here on the plane. Well, he took us out on eagle's wings here. People come up with all kinds of stuff.
Now therefore, verse 5.
Go ahead.
Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then shall you be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine.
Okay, so that's the key thing that I wanted to point out. The Most High said, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then shall you be a peculiar treasure. Yeah, so you can't just say, I'm an Israelite, I'm better than everybody else, I'm better than all the nations. No, you're not. The Most High told you right there, if then. You know, that's using computer programming. That's straight logic right there.
Logic.
And I know about that.
Logic.
Yeah. Even actually when I learned the basic programming language is if-then statements. All right, so that's straight logic there. You're not, by birth, you are not superior to anyone else. You are only superior if you do this. If you follow these conditions that were laid down, that's it. There's no getting around it. Alright, so just saying you Israel does not make you superior. The flesh does not make you superior. Okay, read on.
And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Israel.
Okay, now this hasn't came to pass yet. Alright, because we haven't kept the covenant. All right, so we're not a kingdom of priests yet. We will be, and even Kepha, he touched on this. You know, only righteous Israel will be the kingdom of priests. All right, so anyway, going down to verse 8.
And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahweh has spoken, we will do. And Moshe, or Moses, returned the words of the people unto Yahweh.
Okay, so you see how back then Moshe was the mediator. Nowadays we have Yeshua HaMashiach. He's the mediator. But, and he renewed the covenant in the so-called New Testament. Okay, so all the people said, the Most High laid down these conditions. We're going to obey his voice. We're going to be this superior people. We're going to be a kingdom of priests. And they agreed to it. They told Moshe. Moshe went back up and spoke to the Most High and said, yeah, it's a done deal. And so we're still under that. Because other scriptures show in Deuteronomy 29, it shows that covenant was made not just for those who were there at that time, but future generations. So we're under that by birth. So if you claim that you're Israel, you believe that you're Israel, you are automatically under that and you're bound to that. There's no getting out of it. Even the Messiah's sacrifice does not get you out of that. It only excuses past sins. Alright? So you're under that. You got to do what the Most High tells you to do. You are under the law. You're under the Mosaic law. Okay? Which is the law of the Most High. Let's just get that real quick. And we'll close with that. Let's go to Deuteronomy 29.
Let's go to Deuteronomy 29. Where's your brother?
Because we're looking forward to Shabbat right now, Feast of Pentecost. So, and then we're celebrating that because that's the day we enter in the covenant. So, you know, when we celebrate these things, we got to realize we're under the covenant. Even if you're not in the land, there's no priesthood set up. there's no temple, you're still responsible to do the things that you can handle, the things that you're able to do right now. All right, Deuteronomy 29, verse 9.
Okay. Keep therefore the words of this covenant, and do them, that you may prosper in all that you do.
Did you say keep for the words of this covenant and make excuses?
Oh, wow. Okay.
No. He said do them. And if you do, what would he say? He said that ye may prosper.
Mm-hmm.
Bad things won't come out of keeping the commandments. Only positive things will come out of this.
Mm-hmm.
It might see it's a trick of Satan to make you think that keeping the commandments is going to make something bad occur, or that you won't benefit from it. That's a trick. That's a mind game. All right, you keep them. There's a guarantee from the Most High. He guaranteed you, and I guarantee it to you as well, because I believe him.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, you keep the commandments, only positive things will take place in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Your life will only get better. Now, I didn't say you won't get tested, but you'll get better once you pass those tests. Just like Job, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
oh,
others.
Job was the biggest tester.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. Read on.
Verse 10. You stand this day, all of you, before Yahweh, your mighty one, your captains of your tribes, your elders, your officers, with all men of Israel,
Yep.
your little ones,
Yep.
your wives, and your stranger
What?
that is in your camp, from the hewer of your wood. That's the worker. That's when somebody works with you.
Yeah.
Okay. The hewer of your wood, until the draw of your water, that you should enter into the covenant with Yahweh your mighty one, and into his oath, which Yahweh your mighty one makes with you this day.
Okay, so we can see that the little ones, the kids, the wives, and the strangers also entered into the covenant with the Most High. So a stranger would be a non-Israelite.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not an Israelite foreigner. There were no Israelite foreigners back. These are strangers. He said, from the ewer of thy wood unto the drawer of thy water.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So even the stranger entered into the covenant with the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
So strangers are welcome to enter into the covenant. All right. Now, once you come in, there's no getting out.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can receive the blessings and the curses just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, but he told him, enter in the covenant with the Most High this day. Read verse 13.
Verse 13. That he may establish you today for a people unto himself, and that he may be unto you a mighty one, as he has said unto you. And as he has sworn unto your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Neither with you only do I make this covenant and this oath, but with them that stand here with us this day, before Yahweh our mighty one, and also with him that is not here with us here to this day.
Right, that would be us.
Ain't that something?
Right, because
Wow.
all the children of Israel, there were no straggling Israelites
Mm-hmm.
that weren't there. All of them were there. And so he's speaking of the future generations. That's us. Okay, so the covenant was made with him. They spoke for us. Okay, just like they spoke for the children. The children were there, but they were under the parents' authority. We are their offspring. We're their children. We're the children's children.
Mm-hmm.
And so we fall under that. There's no getting out of it. If you believe that you are an Israelite and you claim to be an Israelite,
Or if you believe that you're righteous.
right, you are bound under this. And if you are a stranger, if you believe that you are a Gentile, but you want to be bound under the covenant unto the Most High and keep His commandments and be amongst the kingdom of priests, then this applies to you as well. And you're bound under this, and you got to keep all these commandments to the best of your ability. Okay, so this is part of what that's about. The Passover on up to Pentecost, to the entering into the covenant or the marriage with the Most High. That's what this is about. That's what we're leading up to. So in these next 50 days, well, now we got what?
50 days.
46. We got 40 something odd days that we're going to be leading up to. You should keep that in your mind as you count down towards Pentecost. All right, that's all I have.
You know, during this time, there were 3,000 people who died because of disobedience. And this talks about the spiritual implication, as in the book of Acts, the 3,000 people who came alive because of obedience.
Yeah, that's right. You keep bringing that stuff up. Yep, just like before. That's what I like about Shabar. He'll bring some analogies up to get you thinking. You know, and that's real right there. 3,000 fell. Then and later on in the renewed covenant, 3,000 came. They became alive amongst the living. Yeah, that's real right there. All right, but that's all we have. All right, may the Most High bless your understanding, and look forward to